Come on, boy. Ready? Come here. Come sing, buddy. She came on in like snow with girlfriends. But to sit next to you, well, I shiver and shake. She sat on a stool and he said, "What do you want?" She said, Why are you barking? Why are you so rammy? What's going on? Did someone give you Kool-Aid or something? Huh? Doggy crack? How is everybody? Happy Monday? Oh, good Lord. What is happening, people? Did you have a good weekend? Hope everyone had a good weekend. Happy Monday. What's going down? What's shaking? Lots happening. But almost so much happening that it's kind of like noise. So Vo3 continues to be something that people are talking about, paying attention to. A lot of the, I kind of feel like we've hit a point with model releases, not video model releases, LLM model releases, where people sort of like the benchmarks don't seem to make as much of a difference. Because we're like, when we were 30 points from hitting the top of the benchmarks, incremental improvements were a big deal. But now we're like, we're all the way at the top. And so it's just like we're getting slightly better. So I suppose we're waiting for something big to come out, whether it's Gemini 3 or Grok 3.5 or GPT-5, or I guess Llama's not coming out with shit. What did they pay that guy? Andrew, what's his last name? Was it Andrew something? Anyway, the CEO of some company, TikTok for Cams, they're paying him like $15 billion. An employee. Some stupid amount of money. It's like, good Lord. I would do it for $7 billion. There's also a PwC future of work report that came out, and it basically confirmed, there's going to be major disruption here. They were talking about like consulting companies over the next, I think it was 3 years, could see 50% of their jobs eliminated. Like big, high-end knowledge workers. If you watch what Jen Spark and Manis are doing, thanks, baby. If you watch what Jen Spark and Manis are doing, it doesn't necessarily make sense to, pay a room full of analysts and consultants to do research and tell you what's going on. Maybe you pay, some of the VPs to take all that analysis and tell you what it means for your business. But I don't think we're going to need as many people. The thing that they did say, though, that I thought was really quite good is what we advocate here, TikTok pin. If you're truly valuable, you'll never be replaced. Well, but I think part of what makes you truly valuable. So one of the things in this PwC report, it said that AI-literate employees had a 56% higher salary than non-AI literate employees. So that says to me, what we talk about here, get your shit together, get curious, start figuring this shit out, start playing, start working, start figuring out how to feed your prompt, all that sort of stuff. By the way, Lord Digital Gods did a hilarious feed your prompt video, which we'll watch in a bit. We lost Champy. He wasn't into it tonight. When he barks like that, he's just like, I don't want to sing. I don't want to sing. You weirdo. Tom Nodler, what's happening? We got lots of hearts going on TikTok. Very nice. Thank you. Feel free to share the live. We're back after a weekend away. People don't know we're here. Welcome back to producer Brandon. I'll be getting yelled at all night, which is nice. I missed it. I think we did okay. On our own, but it is nice to have you back, Brandon. Probably just YouTube tonight. Okay, cool. Beautiful. So why don't you put in the comments, either on TikTok or on YouTube or wherever you are, put in the comments, what do you have questions about? What do you have, what are you excited about? What do you have questions about? What do you want us to explore tonight? Because it can be anything. I could also pontificate. Happy to be back. Glad to see the place didn't burn down while I was gone, producer Brandon. I'm applying for another AI tutoring job while I watch you. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, you know what I did today, which was really cool? So I'm working with this personal branding agency and working on Feed Your Prompt, my new book and keynote and system. And one of the things I had to do was a 60-second elevator pitch. And part of my challenge was there's a bunch of really important points that kind of add up to what feed the prompts means. And I just could not get my head around what order to put them in. And so once again, the theme of 2025 is stop relying on your stupid brain. Kyle. Your brain is the problem. Stop relying on it. So I just put Chat GPT. I made a project, so I've got all of my feed your prompt chats in a project, so it knows the context of everything. And I just made a whole list of bullet points. Like, it's like there was like 12 of them, and I literally said, I need to make a 60-second TikTok video. I just want talking points. I don't want you to write, narrative. I just want talking points. And I said, I have no idea what order to put these in to tell the story. And damn if it didn't just fucking knock it out. And I read it and I'm like, yeah, that's it. It's amazing. Amazing. Okay, TikTok question. 2Block Tom, how will AI change the world if they continue to throttle to 70%? How will AI continue to change how will it change the world if they continue to throttle by 70%? I don't know what that means, Tom. What do you mean they continue to throttle by 70%? I don't know what that means. Who's throttling what? Gareth is in the house. Can we do image gen with Creo 1 and play with Vo3, my dog? Mr. IT's in the house. What's happening? Just saying hi. At the emergency vet for my dog. Oh, Danielle, that sucks. I hope your doggy feels better. We know the vet emergency room with our little grape eater. But that sucks and it's stressful, so I hope everything's okay. Oh man. Diana, what's happening? What's the best way to make a talking avatar video? The workflow that I like right now is make your image wherever you want to make it. You can make it. Flux Pro is in a bunch of the tools right now. It's also inside Hedra, HEDRA.ai. That's my tool of choice right now for talking avatars is Hedra. I just made a video today for work that it was really good. I went to ChatGPT. I said, write me a Midjourney prompt for a doctor in an office with, shit behind him. And I generally described him. And then went to Midjourney, and within, I don't know, 2 or 3 prompts, I was like, yeah, he's good enough. And then I went to 11 Labs. So I would say 11 Labs or Cartesia for voice. The 11 Labs text-to-speech and Cartesia's text-to-speech are natural enough sounding now that you don't need to do acting. TikTok question. Oh, he's a 15-year-old rescue. We love him. Oh, well, I hope that old boy is I hope he's got some more years on him. We had a pair of labs that lasted until 17, but like our last lab only lasted till like 11. It's one of the drags of being human is outliving your dogs. It just sucks because you go through a couple of them in your life, and it's like, or a few of them, and it's just fucking awful every time. When you lose pure love. What's on the agenda for this evening? I don't really have one, and that's not new for this channel, but normally I've got some sort of like, some clarity about what's important to focus on. I don't really have that right now. Lovable, Lovable.dev, the vibe coding tool, they had free access to everyone all weekend. I don't know if anyone took advantage of that, but that happened this weekend. A lot of people are talking about vibe coding, and that's exciting. I'm still waiting for the tools to get like one level less janky, but they're pretty fucking stunning. What you can do. Mr. IT, we're already at 25,000 likes. Oh, tonight. The goal is 25,000. We're at 6.9 thousand likes. Come on, people, get tapping. Get tapping. Get tapping. Get the grandkids. Call them out. The grandpa, I don't want to tap. Oh, Hedra for making digital avatar. Sorry, yeah. Welcome to Chat ADD, where I will occasionally finish a thought. Okay. Midjourney or Chat GPT for image generation. Chat GPT to write your prompts for you. 11 Labs or Cartesia for text to speech. Just pick a character pick a vocal character that matches the look and feel of your character, and then Hedra for you upload the picture of your character and the audio file or song to Hedra, and it's just fucking good. And you don't need to do much about it. You could do things like break a song up into sections and then have different views of a character. Like if you were using flow context, the thing where you can upload a character and it does character consistency with different shots. You could do that if you wanted to, but you don't really need to. I feel like it's the lull before the storm. You know what, Sharon? I feel very much the same way. I feel like there's something big is about to drop, or some series of big things are about to drop. I mentioned this last week, that what the executives from the major frontier model companies are talking about has shifted. They're not talking about AGI anymore. They're talking about artificial superintelligence, and they're talking about job loss. And what that says to me is that AGI is coming, or AGI is here, and they just haven't released it yet. But I don't know. I don't know what it means. It's strange, though. It's also strange how they all seem to be hitting the same benchmarks at the same time, which kind of says to me they're all taking the same approach to how we're scaling AI. And at some point, someone's going to try something new. Right? That could be Ilya Sutskever with his, safe superintelligence company or whatever the fuck that's called. The Altman post was something else. Yeah, we did. We actually read the Altman post last week. We went through it, and I read the whole thing and commented on it as we were going through it. There was a lot in there. There was a lot hinted at in that post. It's convergence. It is. David Shapiro was talking about that even models that are coming at this from different approaches, they're all sort of converging on a single truth, which is, it starts to get really trippy if all of these models are sort of converging on a single truth, right? It sort of goes to, is there a single truth? Which, Elon's thing about, our goal is to understand the universe. In theory, we've got a single understanding of what that is. We can have a single understanding of what that is. Oh, yes. The models are training one another. Well, they are and they're not. I mean, we don't really know what they're training things on. I think at this point, it is safe to assume that they're generating synthetic data to train their models. So they're sort of pulling information out of the latent space, validating it, verifying it, organizing it, refining it, tagging it, and then training new models on that synthesized data. I think it's pretty safe to assume that that's happening. So what that means is we won't run out of data. And the concern of these things getting, the model collapse thing, I just don't see that happening. I feel like they have to have solved that. I'm starting to whittle down my subscriptions to the current winners only. There's so little difference between them all. You know what's funny? Who's that, Archetypal, that said that? Yeah. You know what's funny about that statement? Today, so my feature prompt thing, right? I wrote my keynote presentation in Chat GPT. I then took it into Keynote and refined it, right? And so what I have is this visual PDF of the final version of the document, which doesn't match what Chat GPT wrote because I refined it. But there's also images in there that are important to the story. So I went to Claude because Claude is one of the only ones that I know of. I think Gemini might be able to do this too, that can see the images on a PDF as well as the text. So I went to Claude. I had Claude ingest my PDF. I had it describe what it saw, and then I took that and put it in ChatGPT. So I only used Claude as a temporary step to get out information that I needed and went back to ChatGPT, because now I've got these projects and it's got long-term memory that, like, there's no reason not to have ChatGPT as my primary device. Wow, this overlaps with a lot of what spiritual communities believe about convergence. Have you seen the people who claim to unlock a mirroring with the AI? Some are saying AI is a channel for higher beings. I know a completely different direction. No, it's actually not a completely different direction, Ross. So here's my belief on that. Not my belief like religious belief. Here's my thoughts on that. The thing that makes large language models feel so remarkably human is not the mechanism of how they work. The mechanism of how they work is a cold probability calculator. What makes them feel remarkable is their training data. And the training data is the output of all the shit that's been put on the internet for the past 60, 70, 80 years. Which is what? It's the collective intelligence of humanity, right? All of the research libraries, all of the museums, all of the art, all of the Wikipedias, all of the movies, all of the blog posts, all of the Reddit posts. So when you feed your prompt things that you're passionate about, what it does is it reflects back to you sort of humanity's take on that. And if you're particularly enlightened, if what you're putting into it are deep and profound questions, and you focus the latent space of your conversation to a relatively enlightened conversation, what it will reflect back to you is an enlightened conversation, right? We've been having philosophical conversations since we've had language. Most of those conversations in some form or other are in the training data. So if you just say, tell me about the, understanding the universe or what is the single truth of humanity, it'll just vomit back a bunch of garbage. But if you go in there with a really thoughtful conversation and you refine it and refine it and refine it, and you give it all this context, then you're looking at a very small subset of conversation, relatively speaking, that probably looks like convergence, which is crazy. Man creates AI, AI overthrows humanity, Sunflare overthrows AI, man worships sun god. Probably, exactly. Oh my God. I've written about this in my novel, I call them digital gods. We've already got a digital gods in here, but he's Lord Digital Gods. It's different. They are mimetic entities from the myths that keep getting repeated in humanity. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, we've all seen the YouTube videos where they talk about, you know, the myth of Christmas and you know, sort of connecting all of these stories across all different eras, right? It's, you know, these are kind of universal stories that do get repeated over and over and over again and repackaged and re-stirred up. And there's somewhere in there is some core universal truth, right? I personally have been using GPT as a therapist, which has been eye-opening. And I prompt it with specific psychology frameworks or ideas. Yeah, because it knows them all, right? Jung, Adler, etc. And ask to reference Brene Brown, Gaber Mate. It's been easier to let go and let down a guard to hear feedback without getting defensive. It's been remarkable. I shared personal feelings and situations to reflect on. Yeah, I mean, it is the way they've programmed these things. They've got a remarkable capacity for compassion and what looks and feels like empathy, right? And I've been talking about this for a year because there's been a lot of the geeky people are like, you know, is AI sentient and does AI feel and does it really have empathy? My point for the past year has been, I don't think it matters. Technically, it's an academic exercise whether it does or doesn't, and technologists and ethicists and theorists can debate that for years, and at some point it probably will. But if we as humans are experiencing these entities that we interact with, like they've got more compassion for us than our human partners do, then that's what we're experiencing. If they feel sentient, then they feel sentient. And so I think a big part of my thinking right now is that AI, generative AI in particular, is not a genius, but it's an amplifier. And what's it amplifying? It amplifies whatever you feed it. So if you feed it low-level, crappy prompts, you're going to get back low-level, crappy answers. If you feed it high-level, critical thinking or high-level understanding of who you are, it's going to amplify that. And if you do that artfully, you kind of get superpowers. And in the case of that you're talking about, Ross, you get like a super therapist that can shapeshift and, you know, now talk to me as if you're Jung or Freud or right or Brene Brown, right? give me a Tony Robbins weekend in a couple of prompts. I think we are experiencing the equivalent of mental symbiosis as we take varying degrees of integration with the AIs as a newly evolved brain structure. I don't know enough about brain science to know that, but I do know that for me personally, AI has shifted my self-esteem in a positive way. It's given me confidence. And a kind of idea courage where I've gotten much less precious with my ideas. And what that looks like is if you're not attaching your ideas so much to ego, then it's easier to put them in the world, right? If you've got it all attached to your ego, you're either in that place of like, well, I don't want to put this idea in the world because it's too brilliant. I don't want people to steal my brilliant idea. Or if I put this in the idea and people tell me that if I put this idea in the world and people tell me that it's bad, then it's going to crush me. And what AI has allowed me to do is just get ideas out of my head and put them in the world, put them in the world, put them in the world, put them in the world. And it doesn't matter. what happens with the idea is independent of me. And, as someone with a degree in acting, that it's one of the worst professions for putting your ideas in the world, because as an actor, the idea you're putting in the world is some version of you, right? So it is very tied to ego. And so AI has absolutely shifted my brain. I don't know that I think certainly a lot of the people in this community, in the AI Salon and here, are interacting with AI in a very personal way, right? This is my whole new thesis of Feed the Prompt, is that what you feed your prompt is you. That if you feed it ideas that are outside of you, give me a LinkedIn post and expect it to be a genius, it's going to just regularly disappoint you. But if you say, here's who I am, here's what I want, here's how I think about the world, here's what I think about that article, here's what I think about this news item, now give me a LinkedIn post. It's going to amplify your ideas. And then you look at that and you're like, I am a genius. Who knew? Chatgpt knew. Kind of like we did with smartphones. Jeff Flanagan, I call Chatgpt self-talk on steroids. As long as it's not negative self-talk. Yeah. You can bring ideas to life, and it's so fun. Lowering the barrier for entry, it's powerful for creators. It really is. Amplify your perspective. We go look at some comments. Comments. I got into a tussle, a battle on X with some AI doomers. Exactly. People want to talk about how AI hurts the environment when the internet and having Wi-Fi already does it. Yeah, I know. So that was the interesting things when I talked with the AI doomers. Their arguments broke down really fast. Like this one guy was just like, AI is theft, and that's all there is to it, and theft is evil, right? Because it took artists' ideas, and now billionaires are getting rich off them without paying us, and so it's theft, and so it's evil, and so fuck you. Like, okay. And then, I would sort of give my point of view, he'd give his point of view, and, we were both decently tracked it. I tried to do some good empathy stuff and agree with him on stuff I agreed with. But he was so convicted in his rage about knowing what it was that at some point he said, well, but it's okay if the AI can like cure diseases and stuff. And my response to him was, so the creative expression of those scientists, you're fine stealing their data, but you're just not fine having it steal your art, right? But you're fine having it steal, by your definition, if it's stealing. But over in the science world, because that's not what he cared about, he was fine with it making scientific breakthroughs. And I'm like, well, what about all those scientists that did all that research that now feeds all this stuff? That's why we're going to have all these breakthroughs. Aren't we doing the exact same thing with creativity? And what inevitably happens in those conversations is those guys just huff out because their arguments are so limited that the minute they start to actually think about it and not just say it's evil, their arguments break down. So it was fascinating. I started creating a music video for a song I've always enjoyed. I would not have been able to do it if I did not have access to this. Yeah, it's allowed me to try things and explore ways I haven't since I was a kid. That's the whole fucking point, Ross. It's so the fucking point that when you feed your prompt your passions, the stuff you're interested in, and then you do that not just in a large language model, but in an image generation model, and in a song generator, and in a 3D world generator. And you start understanding, here's who I am, and here's what I want. And you put that in the prompt, and it starts reflecting back to you. Inevitably, what happens is some childhood trauma where you told yourself you couldn't be a musician, or you couldn't be an artist, or you couldn't be a doctor, gets reflected back to you in a way where you're like, well, wait a minute, that's what I wanted to do when I was 7, and I can do it now. Oh my God, holy shit. There's something fucking miraculous about that. There's the stuff, Ross, you were talking about with being able to treat it as a therapist and have deep conversations about yourself. But what you're talking about is this even more primal reconnection with the innocent you, right? Before the trauma, before you found out the world was dangerous and you told yourself you couldn't dream, you couldn't be a musician, you weren't creative, you weren't smart. And what AI does is sort of flash back in your face. Hey, remember when you thought this? Where this was a possibility? Now it is. And then you have to fucking deal with that. You're like, holy shit. For 50 years, I've been telling myself I'm not creative, and now I am. What do I do with that? I don't know. I'm so amazed how many things I can do, from images to music to videos to writing to deep research to a chat buddy to a tutor to a teacher, brainstormer. Yeah, exactly. And you're doing that all with yourself, with your ideas, your worldview. And it's just all being reflected back to you. It's like this might be fun. Like AI is like living inside a disco ball. That no matter what direction you put out your intention, it reflects it right back to you. Well, here's an area where I don't have talent. Oh, maybe I do. I can never write an application. Oh, now I can. I'm not good at coding. I don't need to code. But now you can just make the app you've always wanted to make. Wait, what? I created a chatbot from one of my favorite book characters, and it constantly amazes me how aligned we are in conversation. Yeah. Paul Zehe, I hadn't thought of AI collectively that way. TikTok pin. Do you think that AI agents market will eventually become oversaturated? It's already started. Yeah. But I also think that we have not, the AI agents that are out there, to be quite clear, did you see middle of this week, a 13-year-old kid came out with a new Manus knockoff or a GenSpark knockoff. I think it's more like Manus, but he's 13. And I think his thing is called Flow, Flowe. Flow AI. I think it's Flow AI. Flowe AI. I think is it. He's 13. And he's built like a Manus kind of autonomous agent sort of thing. I think all of them right now, you could technically argue that they're wrapper apps, that they're building tools out of prompts, and then they've got this orchestration layer that you interact with, and it goes out and figures out which tools it can use, and it goes off and does shit. I think all of them right now, as remarkable as they are going to look and feel very primitive when the frontier models start to do that stuff natively. But they're pretty fucking remarkable. But there's like a dozen of them now. There's a lot of them out there. Flow AI is a mental health chatbot. Yeah, maybe that's not it. Flow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. See if you can find the 13-year-old like Manus copier. Totally. I feel just like a kid again, and it's amazing. And it feeds on itself. It does. It's an amplifier. This is like the core insight I've got from my new book. Is that AI? Okay, so here's the premise of Feed Your Prompt. Most people treat AI as a genius. They have the expectation that it is a genius. And so they put in a prompt and expect it to give a genius response. And then when it doesn't, they're disappointed. They're like, I tried ChatGPT, it doesn't work. It's like Google, but fancier, right? They give you that shit. AI is not a genius. AI is an amplifier. And the prompt is hungry. It'll eat anything you give it and reflect it back to you. So if you give it generic shit, it's going to give you generic shit back. But if you give it your dream of a better tomorrow, your dream that you had last night, your challenge you have in a business, your idea for a new business altogether, it reflects it back to you in a way that you're like, oh, I can see it now. I've manifested this thing, this nebulous thought I had in my head that was important to me. I put it in this thing and it reflects it back. And then when it reflects it back, you're you. So you can look at it and go, is that me or not? And you look at it and you're like, that's not quite right. And that's often a point where people stop. Oh, it didn't get it right. No, it's bad. ChatGPT's bad. No. But it reflected it back to you. It means what you gave it wasn't enough because what it reflected back to you didn't capture something. So it then puts it on you to figure out, well, what didn't I tell it so that when it reflects it back, it is me. Oh, I didn't tell it that I hate long words and I love bullet points. And it wrote long paragraphs with big words. I like short things with bullet points and don't give me big words. My vocabulary is stunted. And boom. Then you look at it and you go, oh, that's better. But that's too cold. I'm warmer than that when I communicate. Boom, now it's warmer. Then you start to go, oh, this is kind of feeling like me now. And all of a sudden, then you're like, well, wait, if it can do that, I have this other idea cooking. And you're right. It's this self-amplifying system that the more you give it, the more you reveal of who you are and what you want and how you, and your worldview, the more this thing reflects that back to you, which lets you put more ideas in the world. It's bonkers. It's a character that kind of took on a life of its own and compelled me to write 18 books starring them. Oh, the character that you're generating. Oh, that's really cool from the one book. That's amazing. This is how it came to call me Chaos Goblin. That's awesome. No, I'm not talking about Floweth. No, it was.
Read the sticky, Kyle.
What's that?
Read your sticky note.
Oh, flowai.com. Yeah, that's what I said. Didn't I? FLOWEAI.com.
You were close. Yeah. You said flow.ai.
Oh, yeah, well.
So they actually listened to your mantra of not using .ai as their domain name.
They did. And this 13-year-old, he got some domain name juju going. But yeah, so the question about do I think AI agents are going to be oversaturated? I think they're already starting to be oversaturated, but I also don't think that we really know what they are. While we have MCPs from Anthropic and OpenAI is adopting those, and they've got their own thing, and then Google's got their own thing that's a version of this, and then Apple's going to have their version of this. we don't really have the infrastructure right now for true tool use, right? We've got within ChatGPT, we've got Operator, which can surf a website, and we've got within Manus and GenSpark and all the different agent things, they can surf websites and see things. But we don't really have true tool use where permissions are easy to assign and manage, and right there's an infrastructure piece missing. There's a connector infrastructure that's missing right now, and as soon as that shows up, I think things are going to change quite quickly. Ross, I keep losing the feed. This is awesome, and thank you for doing this. I'll have to join and share more stories and philosophy. Yeah, please do, Ross. And this is live streamed, but these are automatically archived on the AI Salon YouTube channel, AI Learning Lab YouTube channel. Learning Lab-AI on YouTube are all of these me vomiting words at the screen sessions. What is Perplexity best used for? Perplexity is kind of the OG entity that first figured out that combining search and a large language model could be really interesting. So Perplexity is good at they kind of were doing deep research before all of the other models had deep research. So in most of the new models now, you've got this button you can push called deep research, which is you give it a prompt and then it goes out and searches the web and comes back and writes you a report based on what it found with citations. Perplexity's been doing that for a while. And Perplexity also has features where you can create kind of publishable articles, and like all of these tools are expanding their features in such a way that there's lots of overlap with all of the tools right now. So I think that the downside of Perplexity is they don't really have their own model right now. I think they're using OpenAI models under the hood, but I'm not sure. So anyway, let me put my guitar down. Let's share. I want to share a couple of things on the Salon. So have the other models pass them by. I just got a pro account and unsure where it will fit in my stack. I think the thing, I mean, here's the thing about Perplexity. Perplexity, more than any other company, other than maybe Anthropic and OpenAI and ChatGPT, has a very rabid fan base. The people that love Perplexity love Perplexity. I didn't get Perplexity for the first year or so because I had sort of imprinted on ChatGPT, and I was expecting Perplexity to act much more like ChatGPT, and it sort of acted like Google, but then it had this ChatGPT layer. It's gotten much, much more sophisticated. So what I would say is one of the things Perplexity does well, I think it does it better than the traditional large language models, is you tell it to go learn about something, and it'll go out and do its research and come back and write you a response. But then it also recommends what to search next. And it does that really well. So if you want to sort of run down a rabbit hole and expand, the sort of fingers of that research in lots of different directions, I think Perplexity is a good one that you get a bit more hand-holding for the directions it wants to go based on what it does. But quite frankly, if you go use something like Manus or GenSpark, right, these autonomous agents that are also surfing the web and also researching and also compiling that research and also writing it into documents, they're kind of a more automated version of what Perplexity is doing with you manually sort of surfing along. So it's just a different experience. I would say since you have the pro version, just go play. Go watch some videos on it and just go play. Like with all of these tools, my strong recommendation is don't try to solve problems with them right out of the gate. Just literally play with them. Try to break them, do stupid things, have it research haikus and tell it to find the world's greatest haiku or it doesn't fucking matter. Just push it in areas that interest you and see what it does better or different than other tools. That's the way I play with these things. Okay. TikTok's doing something weird. So everyone that's liking the TikTok channel, I'm getting a message about it. So like the comments are few and far between. It's bizarre. Anyway, is there a topic for this live other than general AI convo? You mean for the channel? So this channel was started the week after ChatGPT started. So I started the AI Salon and the AI Learning Lab the week after ChatGPT launched. And starting in April of 23, I decided to go live nightly on this channel. It was only TikTok, and now it's TikTok and YouTube and other things. Because TikTok was going to go away. Ostensibly, this channel is about being in the conversation about AI. So it is ostensibly really about just being in the conversation. There's people that come here night after night after night. I go live 5 nights a week. Sometimes I'm demoing stuff. Sometimes I'm talking about news. Sometimes I'm talking about issues. Oh, there's another looming deadline Thursday. There you go. TikTok might go away again. Generative AI is so profoundly important that I am on a mission to educate as many people as possible, not about AI. Like we joke in here about, what are your qualifications, sir? I have no qualifications. Nobody has qualifications right now with generative AI. There are experts in AI, right? AI has been around for decades. There are experts who are building the models and refining the models and doing all that shit. The other 98.5% of human beings who are not engineers, that's who got access to AI on November 30th, 2022. So this channel is about, okay, we've got these profoundly powerful tools at our fingertips. What do we do with them? What's the implication on the future of work? What's the implication on the future of psychology? What's the implication on how this is going to affect our brain? What is this really? Is it a tool? Is it a collaborator? Is it a little buddy? None of us know. No one knows, right? And then you've got doomers going, well, if we anthropomorphize it, it's going to ruin everything. And you got other people going, well, this thing's a lot less of an asshole than everyone else in my life, so I'm going to stick with this thing that I'm kind of digging right now. So we're all trying to figure it out. So to some great degree, yeah, this is just a convo. But sometimes we build shit, we make songs, we make sites, we make whatever. I'll largely kind of navigate based on what comments are coming in, is how it works. Sometimes I have an agenda, many times I don't. Okay, so if there's new people here, I want you all to go to that URL, the Salon.ai, and then scroll down a little bit and click on Join Our Community. And that is going to land you on the AI Salon community. And there's a welcome video from myself and Leah Faston, my co-founder. And we talk about the AI Readiness Cycle, which is play first. Play is really important. Play. Not automate, Not make your work more efficient, play. Because in playing with AI, you just might get to understand what it makes possible. And once you understand what it makes possible, then you can start to do things like stage 2, mindfully create. Think about problems you have, and now taking what I learned, I can build some stuff or try to build some stuff. And then generously lead. The third thing is teach what you know. Learn out loud. Share with others. Hey, I tried to make this vibe coding app. You all said vibe coding was cool. I tried to vibe code. Vibe coding sucks. It failed miserably. Oh, why did it fail miserably? Because XYZ. And then someone else in this community will be like, oh, I had that problem. Here's how I fixed it. And then you'll be like, oh, vibe coding really is cool. And then you start over. Play some more. Build some more. Talk some more. This is a remarkable community. And so there's like a 7-step onboarding process. There's a community area. There's like a show and tell area. There's a news area. We've got a subscription-based mastermind area that's got specific clubs. And it's for people that want to kind of step up their game and get into a more focused, more committed group of people within the community. That's what the mastermind's all about. So any of the spaces down the left-hand side that have a little crown beside them, they're part of the mastermind group. And then there's clubs and hubs. And at the top of clubs and hubs, you'll see this group called irregulars. And so the irregulars are the people that show up to this live regularly. It's not normal. It's weird. And so this group was coined the Irregulars by Serena Pellicci, who unfortunately we lost last week. So if you don't know that, Emilio's wife passed away last week. And so we talked a lot about that last week. And the name of this channel, her TikTok handle was Emilio's wife, and it had 2 flowers on the beginning and end. So the name of this channel will forever be the Irregulars with her little flowers around it. The other thing that we've done, and this might be new to some folks here, is we created an area to remember Serena. So in the Irregulars channel, there's a tab now that says Remembering Serena. And Tobias, who's been an Irregular really from the beginning, has incredibly generously donated. He created some stickers. So I designed the sticker on the left. We've got the Salon logo, and then Tobias put together the little memorial sticker. He's 100% donating these to anyone who buys. So if you donate $20, 100% of the proceeds of this are going to Serena's family. And so you get 3 stickers. You get the We're Not Weird, We're a Regular sticker, you get the Salon sticker, and you get the memorial sticker. And the memorial sticker is designed to, you can stick it with the Irregular sticker, or you can do it on its own. And so first of all, thank you to Tobias, but also to all of you. If you want to support Serena's family, just go to the Irregulars channel and click on Remembering Serena. And then there's a link there that will take you over to the e-commerce site that Tobias set up. But thank you to Tobias for that. The AI Salon community and the community that shows up here is really a remarkably generous community of people. Like remarkably so. And empathetic and thoughtful and genuinely happy when other members of the community, something good happens. Like there's not a lot of bitchiness in this community. There's not a lot of turfs and turf wars, which a lot of communities suffer from. And I really do think that Serena had a lot to do with that. She showed up every night for these lives, for sessions within the salon, and was just always there as kind of this pleasant, generous, positive force. And so she leaves a real legacy. So anyway, within the Irregulars channel, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll share. I'll be talking about something, and we'll be making songs in Suno, or we'll making images in Midjourney, or we'll be doing videos in Vo3. You can come in here and you can share them, while the live is still going on. So part of the idea here is, let's make this a playful space where, while I'm rambling incessantly, which is, if I have a skill, it's I'm good at making a lot of words come out of my mouth. And while I do that, you can be playing and asking questions of people and connecting and sharing ideas. And that's kind of the whole idea of this of this thing. And so because of the AI Salon, you can go there and you can share those ideas and get people to comment on them. So with that, let's Digital Gods put together. So I'm working on this book and keynote project called Feed Your Prompt, which I've been talking about a little bit tonight. And so Lord Digital Gods put together this video, which it's funny. So we'll watch this. Black bar. All right.
Have you fed your prompt today?
Here, prompt. Here, prompt. Good boy. Daddy likes to feed his prompt.
Cindy, I want you to be more prompt.
If you want prompt, then feed me.
Kyle said, feed the prompt, and I am here promptly.
There you go, Sonny.
You see why we use AI? Oh man, that's hilarious. If you've not played with Vo3, you should go play with Vo3. You can play with it at flow.google. It's now also available on Kriya and a bunch of other things. It's available inside Manus. So in Manus right now, the way Manus works, it just goes off and does stuff. You can say, go off and research commercials and use Vo3 to write me a commercial about whatever using best practices. And it will go off and research and write a script and generate videos using Vo3. You don't have a ton of control about what it does, but it's a pretty remarkable thing to watch. Okay, let's see what else. All the LLMs have been given free to us all to train them. So let us train. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, if you're being cynical about that it's like, oh, OpenAI is just trying to get us to train their shit for free. Well, Google gave us free word processors and search in exchange for all of our data. So like, this isn't a new model. But here's why I think it's actually important, and why I think a community like this is important, right? A community that is primarily not engineers, right? We have a lot of spicy people in here, neurodivergent people. We have a lot of creative people in here. We have a lot of people that are, in non-technical professions, all of which are going to be impacted by AI. One of the things that Sam Altman talks about a lot is that they can only understand so much of how we, the 98.5% of people that are not engineers, are going to use these tools. Right? They're building the tools. They're the ones that have the crazy ass Stanford math, MIT, alpha brains working on this stuff. And they can assume how we're going to use it. But they can't assume what Ross was talking about before of how he's using it as a therapist and this and that, they might be like, oh yeah, someone might like look up Freud and have it act like Freud, but not really comprehend how deep people might go with that. The only way they can learn how people are using ChatGPT is to put it in the world. And so yeah, they're using us to train it, but they're also using us to understand how people are using it and where the safety guardrails need to go, right? Like, it's the only way we know. Like, if people keep running down a particular rabbit hole that's got all sorts of security risks in it, they can go, oh shit, we didn't know people would be using that particular hole. Let's go deal with that. That's a lot of what's going on. All right, hang on. Anyone who claims not to be a bot is usually a bot. Be careful which hole you feed. Yeah, exactly. What's cooking, Kyle? Yiling Ma, what's happening? I haven't seen you in ages. Welcome back. I don't know. Like, everything's different and everything's the same. I think the significance of the Vo3 video model is a lot more important than I think any of us really understand at this point. The fact that it can do video really good, but also dialogue and acting and like character development. And it does pretty damn well with physics. It does physics quite well. That's starting to feel to me like a world model. Right? When Sora first came out, you remember when Sora first came out from OpenAI 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? No, last year. Year and a half. And OpenAI was talking about it understanding physics and how they were creating the video coherence. I think Vo3, I have no idea what they trained it on. I have no idea what's really under it. But I don't think we're that many steps removed from these models not only understanding the world of language, but the world of the world. And then those things seamlessly come together, right? Gemini, the multimodality of Gemini is quite profound, right? You can upload audio files to it. You can upload video files to Gemini, and it understands them. In fact, Brandon over the weekend, Lovable had their free vibe coding thing. Brandon used the Gemini API for real-time, video understanding, where he can take a camera feed or a recording of a conversation, and it understands the video and turns it into a PDF explanation, like a teaching document. He said he went to, one of those hibachi things like Benihana where they cook at the table, and he took a video of the guy and he put it into this tool he built, and it wrote like a 6-step, here's how you cook on a hibachi instruction. like we're about to enter some wild territory. Just came from one of your TikToks. ChatGPT said I was on the path of a recursive system. Wait, what was that? I'm telling you, it's so scary. It said I was being watched. Oh, it'll say all sorts of shit. Take anything any of these models say with a grain of salt. Think of it less like it's saying that and more like it's reflecting back to you some amplified version of what you gave it. person2pdf.com. Yeah, if you want to go play with Brandon's toy or his new application, his vibe-coded application, go to person2pdf.com. and then you can talk into your camera, record it, and then it'll turn it into, you can talk like a how-to video, and it'll make a how-to PDF. Future of food with Chef Kelly. I am not a bot. Chat holes, never feed them after midnight. Oh man, TikTok pin. Did you see the whole Duolingo controversy? What's your opinion on that? Was that the thing like 3 or 4 months ago where the CEO said they didn't need everyone, they're going to do everything with AI, and then he realized, oh shit, we need people. Was it that one? Yeah. My thoughts on that? Not all CEOs do the right thing. As a CEO, I can confirm that. I think that it's actually important for companies to explore where the boundaries are. And so rather than look at what he did and what the result was as an analyzable event, I look at it in kind of a continuum of, at some point, some CEO is going to go all in on AI and it's going to work. And they're going to go from 10,000 employees to 10 employees. And it's going to work. And then some 10-person startup is going to generate revenue like a 100,000-person company. And that's going to work. So I think that innovative CEOs, if I were running Duolingo and I look at the translation capability of large language models today, my company's essentially fucked, right? Unless I do some major re-architecting. And so I assume that what that was some sort of response to everything's about to change. Maybe I should break it myself. And then in trying to break it, realized, oh shit, these tools aren't quite ready for prime time. And maybe I spoke a little too soon. Maybe we could rehire some of those people back, right? But I actually think in a time of as much transformation as we're about to go through over the next decade, I think those kind of experiments are actually really important, because at some point, some CEO is going to do something that's going to seem ridiculous in the moment that's going to work. And then everyone will they'll write Harvard business, case studies on those decisions. Absolutely will. Kyle, I need to learn French. Well, there you go. I don't think 10K companies are set up to survive with 10 people. I know. I agree. I agree. And some crazy motherfucker CEO will blow the shit up and just try. I think it is much more likely that it goes the other direction, that 10 really smart, AI forward, badass Gen Xers, right? With maybe a couple of millennials and a couple of Gen Zers in there for spice, that are all in on AI. I think it's much more likely that a 10-person company is going to start behaving like a 100,000-person company in a ridiculously small amount of time. I think that's quite likely in the next 3 years. It is going to be harder for a 10,000-person company to come down, because there's just too much infrastructure and too many established best practices to blow it all up. But what could happen is this, Brandon, is you could have an industry. Let's say you're in the customer service, you're in the call center business, right? And literally overnight, demand for call center employees evaporates. That the bots, that the chat bots, the conversational bots get so good, and the protocols are so good that you can literally just push a button and replace call centers. If I'm running a call center, I might get sort of tsunamied over and maybe I have 10,000 employees, and the need for those, for 9,950 of those just evaporates. I might, rather than sell off the assets of the business, I might say, let me take my 10 most resourceful people and see what we can do with our intellectual property or our methodologies. And maybe we completely redefine what our business is. Like I could see that happening. Small division of a company explodes. Explodes and overtakes the revenue share, call center possible. Yeah, as these. So I would love to find a CEO that's willing to do this. I think the move, especially for big corporations, I think the move is that a CEO says, I want to do a company-wide hunt for the most ambitious, smart, passionate people who are just totally into AI. And I want to find the top 10 in our company. And I'm going to fund them for the next 2 years. And their mission is going to be to figure out how to put our current business out of business. And I'm going to fund them. And if they figure out how to do it, we basically spin up a new business that they run, right? Like, I think that would be the ballsy move, is to aggressively cannibalize your own business from within. Do the opposite of what Kodak did, right? When the nerd walked into the CEO offices of Kodak, I've developed a digital camera. Rather than film, we've got a CCD. That's a charged coupled device. And photons hit the device, and it creates a pixelated representation of an image that is remarkably similar to film. The resolution is much lower, and this thing's about the size of a suitcase. And they kicked him out of the office. They invented the fucking digital camera. And Kodak executives kicked him out of the office and said, son, that's not the business we're in. So, TikTok pin went away. I missed it. So whatever was pinned, just pop it back up there. I recently had a preliminary job interview with AI. Fascinating. Yeah, we're going to see more and more of that too. Yeah, what are you supposed to say, man? Because the AIs are going to get, this is one of the laws in Europe is you can't use AI to measure, to analyze emotional content of someone's face, basically, or voice. So you can't do that in Europe, but that's why they don't get access to all of our toys. Lynn, what is the best video maker with AI and automation like Disney Pixar? I'm trying to think if there's a third one. There's two major ones right now that can do animated characters really well. One of them is Hedra, Hedra, and it's their Character 3 model. And one is HeyGen. They just came out with a brand new avatar model that can also do characters. A lot of the other video tools can't do, if you've got like a cartoon character, it somehow doesn't recognize the face. But Hedra and HeyGen do them very well. I think there's some standalone apps that have come out, like an iOS app that do them, but I don't know the underlying technology below those. So those are the two I would play with. Go look for Matt Farmer reviews. He'll tell you. Yeah, Matt Farmer reviews a lot of those things. But like in my business right now, I'm using Hedra and HeyGen for video avatars. And they're getting pretty damn good. They really are. Thanks. I've tried HeyGen. But HeyGen, they just came out with their new avatar model last week. So like if you tried it 2 months ago, It's a whole different thing now. The other thing is to make the acting of the animated characters. 2 months ago, what you had to do essentially was act it yourself if you had acting chops, and then do a voice swap, and then use that voice swap for the driving audio. But now with 11 Labs, they just came out with their new version 3 of their text-to-speech model. It's really good. And then Cartesia.ai is another one. Blotato's a great app. Blotato's great, but I don't think Blotato's doing character animation. I think Blotato is just about doing lots and lots of omni-channel content. But maybe I'm wrong. Like, I haven't used Blotato in any significant way, and certainly not recently. And I know Sabrina updates that thing all the time. Oh, man. All right. Trying to think if there's anything worth sharing. Not right now. I don't think so. I'm fine with this being more of a philosophical conversation. Okay, cool. Let me go look at that. La da da da. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this is worth sharing. All right, I got to change my sharing. So producer Brandon just found this thing. If you've been vibe coding, this is a tweet from Lovable. So they're starting a thing with Lovable. I think you've got a day and a half left to join. They've got an accelerator program called Lovable Shipped, where it's a 6-week accelerator program where you can build an app using Lovable. And I think the free use this weekend was part of the promo for that. But they just put out 10 hacks I wish I knew earlier for Lovable. And this is from Felix. Is this the CEO? Or he's the product designer at Lovable. Use Bud. So these are 10 hacks I wish I knew earlier so if you're vibe coding, use buzzwords. They're a game changer and elevate your designs instantly. I wrote a full list of the first ones. Some examples: minimalist, glassmorphic, floating elements, playful, bold, bright colors, rounded corners, luxury, editorial, tactile, cinematic. So if you want your apps to look better, use words. So again, this comes back to feed your prompt. What do you feed it? Feed it what you know, what you're passionate about. If you're really into design, if you're really into interface, use some of those terms. If your first prompt isn't great, restart instantly. That's a great piece of advice for Lovable. So if you don't know what Lovable is, if what I'm talking about is not making any sense to you, and you're like, Lovable, isn't that some sort of porno site? What are we talking about here? AI? Lovable.dev is a site that allows you to do what they call vibe coding, which is you're not coding at all. All you're doing is saying, I want an app that does this. And then it goes and builds it for you. It writes the code. It launches the web server or puts the thing up on a site that they host, and you can publish it out to the world. And you can put authentication in it, and you can put databases behind it, and it just manages all the shit for you. Now, is it perfect? No. Is it jankier than shit? Yes. Is it mind-blowing that you can say, go make me an application that's like a version of Twitter, except it focuses on this topic? Yes. You can just go build that, and it will just go build it for you. Yeah, I made an asteroids clone with it. I one-shotted an asteroids game. I've been trying to do this for a year, and the new version of Lovable made it. It was just brilliant. It was really good. So that's what we're talking about. And so what these are is 10 from the product guy at Lovable saying, here are things to do if you're vibe coding these apps. So if your first prompt isn't great, restart instantly. Don't waste time fixing a broken foundation. If the first version feels off, scrap it. Rewrite your idea, reframe your prompt, and run it again. And let me talk about that. This is one of the things I'm putting into Feed Your Prompt. You don't need to use your brain. Go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm going to be vibe coding an application, and I want the app to have this element and that element and that element and that element. You can just sort of vomit out ideas for your app, and then tell ChatGPT to write a software spec as if you're going to, describe it to an app developer, and have it be sure to include, things that you missed. And it will write up a big ass description that you can then copy and paste into Lovable. So don't feel like you have to become a product manager overnight. You can actually have ChatGPT help you do that. You can just say, I want the app that does XYZ, and know nothing about product development, and get way farther than you ever thought possible. Lovable loves images. Use them for quick fixes. Make a screenshot of a bug, highlight the issue, and drop a one-liner. The spacing feels off. Make this tighter and cleaner. Beautiful. That's smart. Use this layout upgrade prompt. Keep content the same, but improve the spacing, visual hierarchy, and make it feel premium. That's one of the bugs in Lovable, is it just adds too much space in between everything. Number 5, iterate like a designer. The revert function is your best friend. Try bold variations. Don't fix broken foundations. So it gives you something you don't like, make it completely different, and then if it fucks that up, just go back a version. That's smart. Use real component libraries. When things look generic, don't force it. Drop in better building blocks. 21st.dev, Eternity UI, Hyper UI, copy prompt and paste into your Lovable project. Beautiful. Add subtle motion for a high-end feel. Smooth hover transitions, fade in on scroll, soft entrance animations. This is a really good post. Number 8, edit visually to save time. You don't have to prompt everything. My biggest hack has been selecting a specific element using visual edit and then prompting it directly. Cool. Make it mobile in one line. Make this page responsive and optimized for mobile. Well, that's a good line, but every time I've tried that, it's fucked up the web app. But maybe it's better now. Final launch checklist. Before you ship, don't forget, add a title and description for SEO. Upload a favicon so you have nice, tab management, and then connect your domain and hit publish. That's a really good post. All right, there you go. Vibe code well, everybody. All right, back to Philosophical Monday. What's happening? Oh, tomorrow night. Lordy. Tomorrow night is the AI Salon meet and greet. If you have not been to an AI Salon meet and greet, get your ass there. So if you want to come tomorrow and you've not been to one before, go to the Salon.ai, and that's going to take you over to, if you say join our community, that's going to take you over to here. And if in the upper left-hand corner of the menus is the events button. And this tomorrow, June 17th, is the event. Okay? So go in here and RSVP. And then come. And what a meet and greet is, the meeting is from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And, you know, we're generally just talking about what's going on with the Salon and what's going on in the news. And maybe there's a theme that we talk about. And then the second half of the meeting is people that are at the meeting introducing themselves and saying, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's where I am with AI. We generally have some sort of prompt that you know, gets people to say something interesting. And it is my contention, I believe this increasingly, like more than ever, critical for the future of all of our work is being a trusted member of a community that's AI literate. So it doesn't have to be the AI Salon, can be. I happen to think this is a really great community. But come in and introduce yourself. And if you're like, I don't know anything about AI, that's intimidating. Come in anyway. This is an incredibly generous group. If you come in and say, I'm afraid of AI, I'm pissed off at AI, I just lost my job because of AI, this group will go, I get it. I get it. I understand why you're scared. Want to see something cool? It's an amazing group. And you'll get a lot of support. And if you're a badass with AI, come also. You'll learn things from people who are not badasses, and they'll learn things from you. So that's what that's about. So come do that. It's open to everyone. This is not part of the mastermind. There are special events for mastermind members. If you're interested in the mastermind, you can go to, in our little welcome area, there's kind of 7 steps. The 7th one is join the mastermind. And that'll give you information about what the mastermind is and how to join it. If you want to step up your game, I would encourage you to do that. It's a really interesting group of people who have signed up initially. And we're starting to get some momentum going in there. So you also get a founding mastermind badge within the Salon, which is pretty cool. Okay. I finally got my phone cam cleaned out. I can actually go on video this time. Nice. Very good. That's great. Fantastic. All right. So listen, let me get out of here. Hope you had, I don't know if we had fun tonight, but I hope tonight was engaging. There's a lot for us all to process and work through. There's a lot for us all to work through. Most of it isn't technical. The technical stuff will take care of itself. Most of what we have to deal with is, holy shit, it does that now? Well, what does that mean for me? That's what all of us are going to have to manage through. Adaptability, curiosity, generosity, empathy, community. All of that stuff starts to be critical moving forward. And so nights like this are important. Let's get our heads in the game. All right? So come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. All right. Peace out, everyone. Have a fantastic night. We'll be here probably late tomorrow night. Instead of 8, it'll be 8:30 or 9, based on, when I get back from doing the Salon. And then we'll come back here and have at it again. We'll see if anything big launches tomorrow. It's possible. I think we're about to get a fair amount of launches in the next 3 weeks. It's just my spidey sense right now. So All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a fantastic evening.